Hello, friends, and welcome back finally to another episode of Kingdom Death Simulator. It is so great to be back. 2 weeks off, 1 week planned, 1 week not so much, but that's how things go. We just pick it up and we move on. So, as always, start off with our regular housekeeping. With our content warning. As a reminder, Kingdom Death is a mature game with a lot of adult imagery, as well as depictions of violence, gore, body trauma, as well as descriptions of mental trauma. So first and foremost, please look after yourselves. That said, here we are. Thank you for watching. For those of you who are on Twitch and want to catch up, if this is your first time around, you can check out the YouTube channel, which has all of the VODs over there, as well as to the folks on YouTube. If you check down in the description, there's a link to the Twitch channel where I would say we're live every Friday, but I think we have about a 50% success rate recently. But it's the summer, there's lots of stuff going on. That's just how it is sometimes. Ultimately, I'm just here to have fun, play a game I love. I'm not trying to make a career out of Twitch. It's just a fun little hobby. As for the game, if you'll notice, things are a bit different. We're not at the game table. We are in the entrance to the house. Okay, well, the light's on. When the light is on, that means we have mail. What is this? Let's bring this into our game room. What, oh what could this be? Indomitable Survivor Ruby. Okay. Let's unbox that. Ooh. Oh, her katana's backwards. That's awkward. So this is the latest piece of content that has released for the simulator. I forgot one thing. Please stand by one moment. I gotta fix some overlays here. Forgot I restarted OBS and it kind of jacked that up. Hopefully I will have some upgraded overlays in the near future. Take care of that while I'm thinking of it, though. All right, yes, so Ruby is the latest piece of content for the simulator. Ruby is what is known as an indomitable survivor. What does that mean? So, first of all, let's take a look at Ruby herself. All right, her katana is correct in this picture, or in this model. So she is a new model. At least to the simulator, she's been out in the paper for a little bit. So let's take a look here. Let's read her install guide, huh? So this pattern includes an indomitable resource card and a pattern card. These types of cards appear in the Gambler's Chest expansion, which is not available yet, but we can still use them. Use these rules in campaigns that do not include the Gambler's Chest expansion. Next time a level 3 Phoenix is defeated, I gain a neutron seed. Interesting. What does that mean? Send that to our box. What is a neutron seed? And why is there cat hair all over my monitor, Arya? Neutron seed. It's a resource. When you gain this, also gain the pattern for Tachyon no Dachi. Okay, cool. What's that? Well, here's the Tachyon no Dachi. It's a pattern to craft a special weapon. It takes that neutron seed, as well as a phoenix crest, 2 iron, 3 perfect bone, and 7 hide. So this thing is incredibly expensive. Is it worth all of that? Let's see. So the Takeon no Dachi is a weapon melee katana finesse metal other. It has 3 speed, hits on a 5+, and has 11 strength. It has reach 2, which is very nice. Irreplaceable, which I think means if it becomes unequipped, it's gone. I don't know. I have to look that one up. And it has the special ability. Time stops. At the end of your act, you may gain an additional act. During this act, all monster reactions are canceled and all other survivors are doomed. Limit once per showdown. So once per showdown, you get basically a free attack on the monster. Really cool. Stopping time, the monster cannot react. This is great for a kill shot or just to kind of like get rid of like some really important AI cards that you don't want in there. Really interesting ability. That said, we have to get to a level 3 Phoenix, and we have not yet even seen a level 1 Phoenix. But Ruby is not the only Indomitable survivor we have joining us. I haven't shown these off yet because I was waiting, but we might as well take a look now. We have a couple others. We have Grimmery, who is a dagger specialist, and prepare yourselves. Morg! So Grimmery and Morg are both Indomitable survivors based on the Gorm, who we have in our campaign. So hopefully we'll be getting to see much more of them. There are also other Indomitable survivors that we are not using in this campaign because they are based off of the White Lion and the Screaming Antelope. But we'll get back around to those monsters soon enough and we get to enjoy them. Why wouldn't Morg have a cool intro? Fun fact, Morg is actually the first piece of content for the game that was released digitally before it was released in tabletop. So they did a lot of fun extra stuff with them. And if all goes according to plan, we'll actually start using the Morg model this stream. We won't have the Indomitable weapon, but we're still going to use the model for our axe-wielding hero. Because there's some cool stuff here that I have not seen showed off just yet. But, yes. Morg. All right. Anyway, what have we got going on? So we are hunting yet another Gorm. This is kind of going to be how the first chunk of our campaign goes. Because if you remember, our Node 2 quarry is the Flower Knight, who does not even show up until after Lantern Year 5. So we've got a Gorm, and then we're going to have another Gorm, and then we will have our, or no, I think we have one more Gorm. No, we're currently on Lantern Year 2, hunting a Gorm here, then we'll have Lantern Year 3, hunting a Gorm, and then next stream will be Lantern Year 4 with our Nemesis encounter with the Butcher. Nemesis, or Lantern Year 5 is going to be yet another Gorm, and then finally, or no, Lantern Year 5? No, we should probably be able to hunt the Flower Knight here. So Flower Knight kind of takes a little while to show up, so we're going to be fighting a bunch of big elephant babies for a while, but that's all right, because it's a cool fight. No, I love my Redeem. I love my sound alert. Plus, I'm not as cool as Gorm. Or Morg. So yeah, we're hunting another Gorm. Very cool fight. I've really enjoyed it. I remember that I looked up some rules that I got wrong last time. But that was 3 weeks ago, and I don't remember now. So hopefully when those situations arise again, I will remember what I forgot. So let's hope for the best on that one. But, you know, again, Kingdom Death, very complicated game. A lot of mental load, especially when you're playing solo. I am going to do my best to get all the rules right. I'm going to fail. But all we can ask is that we do our best. Speaking of people who are going to do their best, let's take a look at who is joining us. So first off, we have a fresh new survivor, Daniel. My wife bought me a notebook. That is correct, but I'm already doing so much bookkeeping. If I have to start writing things down, I'm going to lose it. We have our newest survivor joining us in Daniel. He's going to be serving as our main tank with the full rawhide set. Also got a bone blade just for that. Hopefully we can get some Gorm weapons online this year. Next up we have Hilda, who is joining us once again. Nothing special about Hilda. She has a bone blade as well. You're not going to believe this. We have a third bone blade in our next survivor, Blaze. Blaze and Hilda have been around with us since the start of the campaign. Blaze has the mammoth hunting fighting art, which means she will have extra strength when attacking from the flank. Very nice. I'm going to have to remember that. And finally, we have Marina joining us once again. Marina has our newest weapon in the rib blade. She's just going to be tearing chunks out of this thing. She has the tough fighting art, which unlikely to come into play. We're just going to try not to have severe injuries. As well as squeamish, which means she just can't be stinky. So we're going to make sure she's not stinky. Had to double check, make sure the rib blade wasn't stinky. So that's what we have going on this lantern year. And let's move straight into our hunt phase. Let's shuffle up and see who's starting it. It's going to be Blaze. So Blaze is going to step up. What have we got? Horizon of Bones. The darkness ahead is filled with steady flashes of green light. Enormous piles of jagged bones forebodingly line the horizon in an unbroken line. Inhuman, mournful laughter echoes through the air. If any survivor has 5 or more hunt XP and 3 or more courage, you press forward. Fearfully sneaking through the bone wall, all survivors gain +1 courage. We do not have that, so we are going to roll ourselves a random event. With a 32. Why does that sound bad? Sudden Madness. The event revealer is devastated by a piercing cacophony in their head. Roll 1d10. If the result is less than or equal to their current insanity, Blaze has 0 insanity. They go mad, lashing out at their compatriots. Each other survivor suffers 1 event damage to a random hit location. If the event revealer has the crazed fighting art, other stuff happens. So we honestly don't even need to roll because it's impossible to be less than or equal to a 0 on a d10. So good to go. Next up is Marina. Flatter Earth. The survivors lose their quarry's trail in a field of stone faces so badly crushed by the passing of Gorm herds that nothing remains but a carpet of fine pebbles. Roll a d10. Oh, that's probably not great. Delayed. Roll 2 random hunt events before continuing to the next hunt board space. That's rough, but I don't think that's worth a reroll. No, because even the best result is not great. All right, 2 hunt events. Let's go. A 46. River. The survivors come to the edge of a river of blood. Not what I was expecting. Non-insane survivors suffer 1 brain event damage at the sight of it. Nobody's insane, so that's not great. Could definitely use some insanity here, guys. One of the perils of playing solo, you don't earn as much insanity because you don't have that monster controller token. The survivors must investigate in order to pick up their quarry's trail. Each survivor rolls a d10. If no survivor successfully finds the monster trail, roll again. Okay. So let's start with Marina with a 2. You lose your balance and fall into the river of blood. Ooh. Instantly, a massive parasite crams its way down your throat, savaging your insides on the way in. Suffer the broken rib, severe body injury. You hope that's all the parasite does to you. What is broken rib again? I think it's -1 strength. -1 permanent speed. Huh. Well, we literally can't have Marina do that because her weapon only has 1 speed. So we're going to have to spend Marina's reroll on that one. Which sadly means Marina probably isn't going to be joining us much in the future. Boy. Back to hunt events. All right, there's our river. So Marina is going to re-roll. She gets a 7 this time. That's probably better. You realize that the Blood River is filled with the bloated corpses of unrecognizable survivors. You feel compelled to fish some gear out. Gain 1 random basic resource. If you're wearing heavy gear, you fall in and swallow blood and soft bloated monster bits. Reduce your survival to 1. Well, Marina is not wearing practically anything. So we do get 1 basic resource. I'll take that. Get a monster bone. All right, who's next? Daniel, what have you got for me? With an 8. Same thing, and nobody has any heavy stuff. We barely have any gear. We're good. Daniel gets monster hide. Happily take that. Hilda, I need somebody to roll a 9, please. Oh, there we go, Hilda. She successfully finds the monster's trail. And then finally, Blaze. Oof. I guess Blaze is going to have to spend her reroll too, huh? No. What's worse, -1 speed or losing her reroll? I think she needs to use her reroll. That sucks. She didn't. Oh, she had our mammoth hunting. All right, let's use her reroll. Might keep bringing her out with a 5. Your quarry has defecated in the blood. Suffer 1 event damage to a random hit location from sifting through the fecal blood water too long. Pleasant. So 1 damage to her legs. Not off to a great start here, team. And then we need to roll another random hunt event with a 32. Didn't we just get that? Yeah. Ugh. All right, so there goes that. Don't have to roll on brain trauma because it is event damage. Now I'm kind of wishing I had taken Accept Darkness. Or no, I haven't even gotten to that yet. Never mind. That's the population one. Oh, no, we're fine. We're fine. I got that mixed up. I thought it was the other one. So yeah, this is nothing happens. Okay. Woof. Let's move our fat boy out of the way so Daniel can hopefully reveal our last hunt event. Yep, just a rando with a 10. Ooh. Oh, this is literally one of the worst ones in the game, but we should be okay. This event cannot be re-rolled or avoided in any way. The Harvester. The ground quakes and cracks beneath the survivors. A colossal worm, Shai Hulud himself, bursts forth from below, its skin a mosaic of screaming faces. The mere sight of it is maddening. All survivors gain one random disorder and must spend one survival or be devoured whole. Okay, we're going to spend a survival, everybody. Nothing can save them. If any survivor has noisy gear, the harvester is drawn to the sound and they are instantly devoured. Nothing can save. This is why we never bring noisy gear. It's literally a 1 in 100 chance, but it's a 1 in 100 chance you will immediately die. The creature is so horrifying that the survivor's brains erase the experience from their memories, do not gain the benefits of your death principle. So everybody gets a random disorder. Well, this hunt phase was a mess. Start with Daniel. He gets Ichmophobia. You cannot activate or depart with axes, swords, spears, daggers, scythes, or katars in your gear grid. Neat. So Daniel's going to be punching this thing for the rest of the fight. Hilda gets secretive. When you are a returning survivor, you quickly become preoccupied with your own affairs. You must skip the next hunt to deal with them. That's not terrible. Blaze. Vestophobia, that should be all right. You cannot wear armor at the body location. Well, that's not all right. If you're wearing armor at the body location, you can gain this. Okay. So we are just racking up useless survivors. So much for Blaze coming back ever. I guess we could use her for a little bit longer. And seizures for Marina. During the showdown, whenever you suffer damage to your head location, you are knocked down. All right, I think we can be okay with that. All right, so Daniel, well, we can always transition Daniel over to Fist and Tooth. Oh no, Daniel was one of our starting survivors, so he has no freaking stats. Still, maybe we'll see. Hilda will be okay. We just can't bring her out too often. Blaze is essentially retired at this point. We can bring her out for a little bit longer because we're not going to have armor sets for everybody. And Marina is in rough shape. Seizures we could deal with. She's already used her reroll. I don't know. We got to see how things go. But other than that, I think we're finally ready to start the hunt, or start the showdown. All right, so I think we have some good stuff here. If I'm remembering correctly, the grasses kind of have to be around that spot. Yeah, the grasses have to be in those two spots. Well, what else have we got? We've got an ore vein, 6 spaces from all other terrain. So let's put that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll put it right there. Marina can grab that on her first turn, hopefully. And then, yeah, it's just along the bottom board edge and then diamond pattern from there. We also have a dead monster. Excellent. If dead monster is drawn during showdown setup, survivors may start the showdown anywhere on the showdown board, and survivors may go first. Excellent. I wish we had Surge so we could do some stuff. Also, let's see. I've got Hilda, Blaze, and Marina have their stone noses. Let's do that. Getting some extra survival and insanity off the bat. So where do we want to start? Now that we can start anywhere. So we might as well start Blaze in one flank. I will start Marina in the other. They're just going to wail away turn 1. And then we'll have Hilda go after the ore vein and Daniel grab the monster corpse. So let's start with those two before anything else crazy happens. Let's start with Hilda. Let's try to get the ore vein. She rolls a 5, gain 1 iron. Nice. Strange resources are this one. So we're bringing back a haul. That was Hilda. And then Daniel, go after the dead monster. With an 8. 1 random resource from a monster resource deck of your choice. We're just going to take another Gorm resource, because we need lots of those. We get a Gorm Brain. That's actually a really good one. That's Daniel. All right, let's let Marina go first. Show off her cool new weapon. So hitting on a 6+. Cool. Good job, Marina. Let's move over to Blaze. Also hitting on 6+. So, yes. 1, Blaze always wants to be attacking from the flank due to Mammoth Hunter, but overall, you do not want to be in front of or behind the Gorm during this fight. You want to always be attacking from the flanks, a lot like our ancient ancestors when they were hunting mammoths. You stab it in the side with a spear. If you stand in front of it, you're going to get tusked. If you stand behind it, you're going to get trampled. The Gorm has some slightly different effects, but same concept. So let's see what Blaze can do. Let me just double check my stats. Got to remember if there's anything special happening with our stats here. Hilda has an extra luck. That's nice. That's right. She's Fist and Tooth primarily, and then she'll switch to the Bone Blade. Okay, cool. 1 hit. I will take that. 2. Oh, the Death Blow. That's not... that's not going to happen. Unless we can somehow deal 11 wounds with 1 attack. But Blaze... the Bone Blade has 2 strength. Blaze has 1 strength. She's also attacking from the flank. So that is a total of 4 strength. So she needs a 7 to wound. Why do I remember that being easier last time? She does get the wound. She does not crit on a 9. This is why we need Marina to come in big with that sword. But that is the end of our free turn, essentially. So we turn it over to the monster, who has Hiccup. Okay, so this is one of the ones that I got wrong. Or no, was this one? I don't remember. Whatever. Pick a target. Yeah, so... the way I did this last time was I turned the Gorm to face the survivor. Turning is part of the move action. Since this card doesn't say move, you don't actually turn it. It just sits in place. That said, probably shouldn't have left Daniel there, but oh well. It's not really going to matter. For the survivor is Hilda. So roll 1d10 for each adjacent survivor. On a result of 4+, the survivor is knocked down. Let's roll for Blaze. Blaze is knocked down. Great start. Great start. Marina, she is not knocked down. Okay. And then we perform Wretch, which this is where we get the cool little thingy we can do. Blah. So that does hit Daniel. So he'll take 1 damage to a random hit location that ignores armor. Oof. So that is straight to his head. Cool. How am I going to do this? I wasn't prepared for this when I made the overlays. 2/H, because he still has his 2 armor, but he has suffered his heavy head wound. And also, this is not a dodgeable thing because it's not an attack. So heavy wound to his head means Daniel is also knocked down. And then this card goes back on top of the AI deck. So we definitely need to clear that out. Probably should have started Hilda in a smarter spot. Didn't think the monster was going to go backwards on its first turn. Okay. We need to stand Daniel up. Who has our bone darts? Blaze has our bone darts. Oh, I was hoping it would be Hilda, but it wasn't. All right. Let's have Marina spend a survival to stand Daniel up. And then Daniel can spend a survival to stand Blaze up. Let's see if Daniel gets his survival back because he does have rawhide armor. He does not. Neat. So we are in fighting shape here. So let's start off with Marina again. She needs that 6 to hit. Gets a hit. All right, that's not terrible. We'll run over Blaze. Well, let's just not do that. So Marina, the weapon has 5 hull strength. Marina has 1 herself, 6. She is wounding on a... I was using the wrong toughness number. That's why I was like, this feels harder. I was looking at the wounds number, not the toughness number. So Marina is wounding on a 2. Chat, please remember to remind me when I forget the rules. So we need a 2 to wound on Marina. Definitely do that so we can get rid of Hiccup, not have to worry about that again. And nothing bad happens here. I haven't played in so long. I've forgotten how to play this game. It's been 3 weeks, and I've forgotten how to play this game. Anyway, we'll have Blaze step in over here again. Looking for those 6s. 2 hits. Okay. Okay, nothing bad on this one, and we get a bonus, so we're absolutely doing that. So 2 plus 2 plus 2. So wounding on a 2. Get the wound. And I put that to the wrong number. What am I doing? Gosh. Get it together, Sam. And then this one we are wounding on a 4. Just made it. All right, getting it together. We can do this. Come on. Daniel, step up. No, not there. There. I have a feeling Hilda is going to be the target of the next attack. Daniel can't use his sword, so he's going to Fist and Tooth. So he's going to be hitting on a good old 8. Not happening. And then Hilda's just going to do her best. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing else Hilda can really do, unfortunately. I mean, she could throw her Founding Stone, but I don't think we're there yet. All right, back to our buddy. Thunderfoot, a mood. Okay. When this comes to play, draw AI. Any survivor that ends their act in the stomping zone suffers knockback 5 and is knocked down. The monster is wounded. Discard this card. All right, so do we swing for it? Do we throw the Founding Stone? I don't know. Let's figure that out. Let's see what happens here first. Body check. Random survivor in range. So that is literally anyone. It's going to be Hilda. Move and attack. Speed 1, accuracy 2. Hilda does have an evasion, right? She sure does. So hitting on a 3. Misses. Nice. Turning things around. All right, so how do we want to handle this mood? Do we just let Blaze swing? It's just knock back and knock down. I think we're okay if that fails. Do we want to take the chance, though? How are we doing on Founding Stones? We've got 3 Founding Stones. We could probably spare one. Yeah. Marina, just throw your Founding Stone to get rid of the stupid mood. So we get an automatic crit. Healthy Vomit. Survivors in the Vomit Zone, which is just Hilda. Heal all injury levels at 1 hit location of their choice. So Hilda has no injury levels. Cool. That does mean this gets discarded and we deal a wound, though. So it's fine. Now we can act as normal. I'm also going to have Daniel 2, 3, 4, 5 scoot around as best he can. From there, actually, I guess it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Let's have Hilda not stand directly in the front. She is Fist and Toothin'. She has nothing bonuses to her. So she's hitting on an 8. That is 1 hit. Also for bookkeeping purposes. Blaze. Because I keep forgetting to track my weapon proficiencies properly, and I need to do that. So that is 1 hit for Hilda. So she has 1 natural strength, 2 natural strength. So she's wounding on a 6. And then since Fist and Tooth is deadly and she has luck 1, she's actually critting on an 8. So wound on 6, crit on 8. What about neither? Perform the basic action targeting the attacker. Speed 2, accuracy 2, so hitting on 3s. 1 hit. So that is 1 damage to Hilda's hands. Okay, I'll take that. Let's have Blaze step around to the side again. Whoops. Looking for those 6s. Wow. Okay, Marina. Also a miss. This fight has gone back and forth. Like, good luck one round, terrible luck the next. All right, what's the Gorb got in store for us next? Aggravated bite. Closest threat facing in range. That's going to be either Hilda or Daniel. We are going to choose Daniel. So 2 speed. Daniel has some nice evasions. These are hitting on 5s. 1 hit. He's just going to dodge that. Well, no. It's just a damage and a bleed. Yeah, 1 damage to his waist and a bleed token. That's fine. Daniel only has 1 survival left, so let's be a little conservative with it. All right, back around to the team. Let's not stand in front of him if we can. Hilda looking for those 8s. Not happening this time. Daniel. Daniel's also looking for those 8s. Nope. All right, Marina. What have you got for us? Another miss. Cool. Blaze, you want to show them how it's done? 1 hit. Perfect hit, but we don't have anything going on that. So again, Blaze is wounding on a 4. Correct? 4, yes. Nice. This is a wound reaction, so nothing happens. So an entire round of complete uselessness. We've got Strobe. Turn to face the most survivors, then target all survivors in the monsters facing. Who can take this the best? Hilda, Blaze, Marina. Yeah. So we're going to turn him this way. So Hilda and Blaze on a 3+ will suffer 1 brain damage. Hilda. Yep. Blaze. Yep. So they are both knocked down, and I don't think we're going to stand them up this turn. We don't have a ton of survival to go. And then turn the Gorb to face the Gorb. Turn the Gorm to face the opposite board edge. So then back this way. All right. So let's start off with Marina. See if she can do something this turn. Nope. Wow. And then Daniel. God, might as well put him here. Gets a hit. Mammoth Testes. We're attacking from the flank. We are attacking from the flank. So that gives us 3 strength on the attack. So we are wounding on a 5. Critting on a 9 because it's Fist and Tooth. Jeez. Alright, back to the Gorm. Posturing Piss. Nice. When this comes into play, draw an AI. The Gorm asserts its dominance over the challenging survivor. When a survivor ends their act in the Gorm's blind spot, they have any armor points at the leg's location, reduce them to 0. Otherwise, they suffer damage to that location. If the Gorm is defeated when this card is in play and you have not yet innovated ammonia, we get ammonia. We did that last Lantern year, so basically this is just a free wound, and we can't go into the blind spot anymore, which is fine because we weren't doing that to begin with. But we do have to draw another AI card. Wrong button. There we go. So we have, again, aggravated bite. Closest threat facing in range is nobody, because there's nobody facing. Closest threat in field of view, we will choose Daniel again. So that is his job. 1 hit. 1 damage to the body. That's fine. And we will take that 2nd bleed. That's okay. But that does mean the girls stand up. So let's move Daniel first. That's what I was expecting. Let's move Marina next. Hey! It's a trap! God. Full move the Gorm towards the attacker. Already there. The monster ends movement adjacent. I think this is another thing that I messed up. Full move, I took that as it's going to move the full 6 movement. Full move just means it moves up to 6 movement, but will stop. So it's basically just going to stand right here. And it's going to turn. If the monster ends movement adjacent to the attacker, obviously, the Gorm headbutts them with enormous skull, and as its lure dances frantically atop its head. Attacker suffers 1 damage to the head location, which Marina has seizures. Not that it matters, she would have been knocked down anyway. Turn the monster to face the most survivors. We're going to just leave him in this direction. Each survivor in the monster's facing is knocked down and suffers 1 brain damage. Oh no. Oh no. No, I think we have to turn him the other way. No, I think this is the right way. So if I leave him this way, Marina and Daniel are both going to suffer brain trauma. If I turn him, Hilda will get her wound, and then Blaze will suffer brain trauma. I think that has to be the play. 1 brain trauma is better than 2 brain trauma. That kind of has to be it. It just sucked because Blaze hasn't acted yet this turn. Daniel might be able to. Well, Daniel can stand her up. Let's see how things go. So they are both knocked down. Right, that did say knockdown. Yeah. Hilda will get her light brain wound. And that means, whoopsie, Marina gets to roll on brain trauma. Fun. Or not Marina, Blaze is rolling on brain trauma. With an 8, lunacy, gain a random disorder, and 1d5 insanity. Okay. That is 4 insanity. Nice. And another random disorder. These are piling up. We need to have so many babies this year. Pizza, if you're watching, I'm going to need your help. Okay, this is a new one. Flower addiction. You may only depart to hunt the Flower Knight. After you depart, cure this disorder. All right, well, that's not a bad one. That'll pop up plenty of other times during this campaign. All right, so... we don't even have a chance for Daniel to encourage, do we? No, you can encourage at any time. That's fine. That's right. So let's shuffle all those guys. This does not count here because they didn't end their act. Actually, yeah. Because all of that happens before the end of Marina's turn. So Marina will take 1 damage to her legs. Lantis, how are you feeling, friend? I wish I could say I'm here to comfort you, but you know that's not what we offer on this stream. All right, Daniel is definitely going to stand up Blaze. We need to deal some damage, and she's our only good damage dealer. Does not get the survival back. Sub-optimal. But definitely don't want to leave 2 people standing in front of the Gorm either. 1, 2. Let's actually go as far back as we can. All right, Blaze. I need some damage, girl. 1 hit. Okay. I promise that is on the menu. So we are wounding on a 4. Thank God. Ugh. I thought for sure that was going to fail. We're getting there. We are making progress. But that is all we can do this round. All right, Thunderfoot is back into play. Might throw another Founding Stone. And then we have Body Check. Random survivor in range. Daniel, I'll take that. So we just boop, swing around. Hitting on a 5. Of course it hits. 1 damage. We can no longer dodge. We're out of survival to the body. Bash and knock back 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wonderful. But that means Hilda and Marina get to stand up. So what are we doing about Thunderfoot? I don't want to throw another Founding Stone. I'm just going to see if Blaze can clear this off. 1 hit. All right, just roll a 4. Jesus. All right, so Thunderfoot activates because Blaze ended her act in the Stomping Zone. Knockback 5, knocked down. Jeez. I think I just have to throw another Founding Stone. And Hilda is the only one that can do it. All right. Well, first of all, Hilda, let's get you out of the blind spot. That's not where we ever want to be. Let's archive your Founding Stone. To auto-crit the Mammoth Rear Clubfoot. At least this is a good one. All right, so let's just deal the wound. Which moves Thunderfoot off. And then we have a critical wound, persistent injury, lame. At the start of each monster turn, roll a d10. On a 9+, the Gorm is knocked down. Well, we know that's never going to happen. All right. That is the end of Hilda's turn, which can bring us back around to Marina. And watch Marina do nothing, everybody. Cool. Hilda also hasn't gotten her Fist and Tooth wound yet, which isn't great. Do we want to... Well, we can't even stand up, Daniel. I mean, we can, but I'd rather save the survival. I think we'll be okay. Famous last words. With another body check. That's fine. This one will be targeting Blaze. Oh, that's going to run over Marina. 1, 2, 3, boop, boop, boop. So this will be hitting on a 3. Yep. 1 damage to her head. Alright, that's survivable. She's already knocked down. She's a triple knocked down, not like the matters or anything, but she does have her knockback 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. But since she started the monster turn knocked down, she actually will stand up, as will Daniel. Oh boy. What have we got to do here? At least Marina, or at least Blaze can throw her bone darts. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just throw the bone dart. Might as well. Yeah. But she's also going to stand up Marina. Blaze has most survival. So hopefully Marina can at least continue to do nothing, right? Hey, we got a hit! You gotta be... Cool. Cool. Yep, that's a severe injury to the head. Is she the one with tough? She is the one with tough. So that means, unless I roll a 1, I get to add +1. That's a 10. All right. Destroyed tooth. If you have 3+ courage, nope. You boldly spit the tooth out and gain +2 insanity. Otherwise, the blow sends you sprawling and you are knocked down. All right, that's fine. Oh, we got more stuff to do here. Turn the monster to face the most survivors. So this way, so it's going to be this way. Each survivor is knocked down and suffers 1 brain damage. Cool. That's more brain trauma for everybody. Blaze and Daniel have to roll on brain trauma. Blaze with an 8, more lunacy. So she gets 5. Or no, no, Blaze is fine. Blaze is fine. Blaze had insanity. No, we're okay there. We still have to roll for Daniel. I'm not going to be a jerk and say that was Daniel's roll because I didn't say it. Daniel with a 10. All right. Gain 1d5 insanity, +1 speed token, +1 strength token. Ignore slow on melee weapons. You may not spend survival. Don't have any. May not use fighting arts. Don't have any. May not use weapon specialization or weapon mastery. Don't have any. Can be gained multiple times. All right, so Daniel might be doing stuff for us here. Starting off with 4 insanity. Let's grab some tokens, huh? We need a speed and a strength. So if Daniel can ever get back into the fight, he's going to be doing work. Okay, where are we at here? So everybody has acted except Hilda. So she's just going to do her... Can she get in? 1, 2, 3, 4. She can get in. All right, fist and tooth. 2 hits? What? Oh, that's also... All right, so nothing bad here. So this is, again, wounding on a 4 this time because we get to +2. Yeah, wounding on a 4, critting on an 8. Get the wound. All right. So we could finally check that off on her proficiency. Hilda coming in clutch. Almost done here. So now here we are again. This time we are wounding on a 6. Yeah. So good news, he's just going to stop right there. All right. Oof. That was a turn. Only got one AI card left. It is Thunderfoot. I really don't want to have to spend another... I don't want to have to spend all 3 Founding Stones on this fight. I can't. Draw an AI card. He's down to his basic action. Closest threat facing in range is nobody. Closest survivor in field of view. It's either Hilda or Marina. I think Hilda can definitely take this a little better. Hitting on 3s. That is 1 hit. To the head. Of course it's to the head. Hilda's going to dodge that. We need everybody up and in fighting shape. Speaking of which... Alright, what's the... 3... So I think the starting play... she also stands up. Is to throw the bone dart. Yeah, that's about right. I'm not spending all my Founding Stones. I'm not doing it. Marina, please. Cool. And this is just going to keep coming into play if we can't get rid of it. Ugh. Hilda, you're my last shot. At least we can switch to the bone blade now. 2 hits. Okay. Oh no. Does that break our blade? It does. Ah. That's the first time I've seen him with a super dense location. I couldn't remember if he had knee or not. Guess we should do this one first. So wounding on a 4. That is a crit because Hilda has +1 natural luck. Okay. And that actually ends the fight. Because Thunderfoot is in play, which means we dealt the last wound on the basic action. Which means we don't go to discard Thunderfoot. That is just a kill shot. Yeah, so the way that works is normally you would discard an AI card. No AI cards, you get rid of the basic action. So this wound kills the monster, which means we don't go to this step because we can't send this back to discard and do anything if there is no basic action. I also forgot to do any of that, but oh well. We somehow survived. That got sketchy. That got so sketchy. I think we've ruined all 4 of these survivors. We'll see. We'll figure it out. We'll see what we got. But in the meantime, everybody gets 1 Hunt XP. Hilda did get her fist and tooth. Blaze did get her sword. That is an age up for Marina. We are just going to give her grand weapon proficiency. So she will get a check in that. I don't think it's really going to matter. But, because this is grand. Yeah, grand. Okay. So let's age up Marina, first and foremost. She rolls... Oh, that was a 9. So that's an 18. On the reroll. Nice. Gain +1 permanent accuracy. That's actually huge for her. How ruined is she? She used her reroll, which is not great, but otherwise, I think that's okay. Oh, I think I was giving her stats I was not supposed to give her. My bad. No, she should have that. Yeah, because it's not newborn survivors, it's everybody. Never mind. Yeah, survival of the fittest applies to current and newborn survivors. There's other stuff that only applies to newborn survivors. We're good. It was right on the overlay, incorrect on the character sheets. So I don't think we cheated anything. But that's good. Since she only has 1 speed, having extra accuracy actually really helps. Let's get our rewards. So it's 4 and 4, I'm assuming. We get our Negredo back, because we kind of dismantled that last time. Yep, 4 and 4. All right, optimally, we'd like to see an organ here, so we can just straight up innovate. Love juice, that'll come in handy. Bone, skull, that means somebody gets +1 insanity. And an organ, nice. Insanity, God, everybody's pretty jacked up. Daniel's not coming back. Well, we actually might. Let's give it to Daniel. There's a chance we'll still keep using Daniel. And then cross your fingers. We need dense bone. Chat, send me your energy. I need at least 1 dense bone. I need a lot of stuff, but I need 1 dense bone. Milky eye. Mammoth hand. Handed skull. Jiggling lard. We did not get the dense bone. We have what, 1, 2. Do any of these count as bones? We might still be able to make this work. We'll see. Well, let's not skip ahead. Yeah, that's that. So we get to return. We get our 4 endeavors. Nobody has anything useful yet, do they? Nope. Okay. Update the timeline. We got a lot of stuff to do. Oh, not a lot of stuff. We have to draw an event. We draw Skull Eater. Okay. Randomly choose a returning survivor and give them +3 insanity. All right, let's start with that. That's Hilda. Cool. Why did I do it like that? I'm dumb. I'm so dumb. Now, Daniel should have 4, so we would give that 1 to Marina. Chat, why did you let me screw this up so badly? I really need to get my new overlays online. Okay. That's the survivor consumes the skull of a deceased survivor. We did kill off somebody at some point. Who was that? Who are they eating? They're eating poor Dimitri. How could I forget Dimitri? Uh, they awaken a hunger that cannot be stopped and roll on the table below. They gain the following impairment: marrow hunger. When the murder or skull eater settlement events are drawn, the survivor is nominated. Cool. Now, technically, it's an impairment, not a disorder. That matters because you can only have 3 disorders, but you can have an infinite amount of impairments. All right, roll a d10. With a 9, the other survivors redirect the Skull Eater's hunger. They may spend 2 endeavors to replace the marrow hunger impairment with the binge eating disorder. If they don't, add the murder settlement event. Okay. I think we have to do that. Okay. Because we're not adding murder to the timeline. We cannot. So that turns into binge eating. Which means cannot depart unless you have consumable gear in your gear grid. You must consume if a choice to consume arises. That's okay. I don't think we're going to have any consumable stuff in the near future, but that's okay. It's better than murder. It's literally better than murder. And then we have to do the Gorm climate. All right, add Gorm climate to the next lantern year. This is just gonna be how things go for the foreseeable future. It's kind of the trade-off because Gorm gives you so much good stuff that Gorm climate is kind of the balance to it. Roll a d10. Let's do well, please. Freaking hell. Do I re-roll that? I think I re-roll that. Because I don't want to dismantle Negredo this year. There's stuff to do. And I'm definitely not... what are we losing? Losing a Jiggling Lard and a Broken Lantern. The Jiggling Lard, we have a replacement for. I think we just let it happen. Yeah. All resource and settlement storage are lost. Yeah, I think that's the right play. What do I have anybody useless that can reroll? Who's sitting over here? Darren? What about Marco? Marco got his ass kicked, right? Yeah, Marco's jacked up. Marco's going to use his reroll. Marco is not letting that happen in his town. Freaking hell. Darren, are you going to use your reroll? Or is somebody more jacked up over here? Hilda. Hilda has secretive. I still think that's okay. Blaze, how bad are you? Blaze, you're okay. Rena, views yours. Daniel. What was it? Daniel. I don't know what to do. Quixotic is better. But Darren hasn't done anything. Darren's using his reroll. Just got to commit. You just got to commit at some point. Just got to make a decision, Sam. A 6. Finally. I'll take that. Does the settlement have hovel? No. The echoing cries carried on the wind wear out the returning survivors, reduce their insanity to 0. They must skip the next hunt. I should have just done the thing. I didn't read. I saw the 0 insanity. I was like, oh, that sucks, but we can deal with it. I didn't read the whole way. All right, well, that's done. Moving on. Nothing else on the timeline. Update the death count. Check milestones. Nothing. All right, develop. So, first things first. This might... Whatever. It is what it is. Let's just move forward. Move forward. Take a monster hide, a monster bone, and a monster organ. Put those away to innovate. All right, we do not have Symposium yet. Drums is good. Bloodletting is okay. Yeah, drums is the play. Between these two, we absolutely take drums. Looking for those drum consequences. Song of the Brave is great. Forbidden Dance is all right. That's what we got. So Song of the Brave is of a special interest because if we have Song of the Brave when we defeat the Gorm, we can finally get rid of Gorm Climate. So rushing that is not a bad idea. All right, we have one endeavor left. And we do this. I was hoping maybe we could do the Negredo to try and spend turn 3 bones into that dense bone we need. But we have the Gorm Brain, so we kind of need to do this. And our strange resource is the iron. We can get more iron later. So we gain the next Gormkami innovation, which is going to be in here somewhere. Albedo. So Albedo on its own, nothing super exciting. Oh, Albedo should have been in this deck. That's my bad. But, well, can't go that far back. But that means we do put Citronus in. So yeah, Albedo should have been in here. Might have changed the drums draw, but we're not rewinding that much. So yeah, Albedo, we're not really using for anything. Again, Negredo would have been nice, but I had to spend those two endeavors to prevent murder. So that's that. And, interestingly, it brings us to 5 innovations, which if we check, once we have our 5th innovation, we do Hooded Knight. I don't think this is going to be as bad as it was last time. If any survivor has the Twilight Sword, duel the Knight. Otherwise, his motives are unscrutable. Roll below on mysterious agenda. With a 9. The Hooded Knight forces a tattered parcel into the hands of the returning survivor with the most hunt XP. The Hooded Knight leaves with unfinished business. So add Hooded Knight 4 years from now. So, yep, we get the Twilight Sword again. So let's start with, we are at 1, 2, 3, 4. Hooded Knight. And it's in here somewhere. Rare gear. Oh, smart Sam. Real smart. So, for those of you who missed this in year 1, Twilight Sword is really cool, but really sucks when you first get it. You just got to work on it over the course of your campaign. But we're just going to hold on to that. So, most hunt XP is going to be either Hilda or Blaze. We give it to Blaze? Because Hilda still has use. Blaze also still has use. Vestophobia kind of sucks. Or do we give it to Hilda? Hilda's great because of the +1 luck, but secretive is annoying. By the time we start bringing her out with the Twilight Sword, we can get rid of secretive. Also, binge eating means we're not using her anytime soon anyway. So I think that's the play. It loses that XP. That's the play. Because Hilda also still has her reroll, which could be relevant once we get to these duels. All right. We still have resources to spend, so let's get on that. What else can we make? Yeah, so the thought was maybe I could turn some of this stuff into a dense bone with the Negredo. We just don't have the endeavors for that. What do we have? All right, so what do we got here? I spend 2 organs. I kind of want to do this. What do we have at the Gormery? Milky Eye. Does that get us anything? A Pulse Lantern. Not super important. Because there's some stuff in here that I really want. Mammoth Hand. I can make the Knuckle Shield. Handed Skull. That's for the mask. We will be making the Gorm set. Just not right now. I would prefer a second Rawhide set first. And then we can kind of think, probably, this will probably be the 4th set we make. We'll probably do Rawhide, Leather, then Gorm, maybe Phoenix after that. We'll see how things go, but we're not making a Gorm set just yet. It just takes too many resources that we have better uses for. You've had terrible draws. Okay. So, Handed Skull. Nothing really crazy. Man, I really would have liked another. Okay, so this is, I need 2 bones. All right, so here's what we're doing. We're going to do Monster Bone, Skull. And Mammoth Hand to make a Knuckle Shield. This is actually a pretty important get. So Knuckle Shield, it's a shield weapon, but it helps us get started on our shield proficiency a little sooner than we otherwise normally would. And this is why we kind of kept Daniel around, because his disorder means he can't use weapons, but it doesn't say anything about shields. Not that we can use Daniel this year because I'm an idiot. And then I will use the Jiggling Lard and the Milky Eye to do Gormkami. Spend 2 organs and roll a d10. Add 1 d10 for each Gormkami innovation, so I get to roll 3 d10. So let's just grab these 3 that I have over here. 7, 9, 13. Perfect. I wanted the Wisdom Potion. So Wisdom Potion is good stuff. So play the Showdown with the top card of the hit location deck revealed if we can make that work, which we cannot just yet. But we're getting there. A Lucky Charm would be great. We don't have an extra organ for the Lucky Charm. But having the Wisdom Potion gets us close. Riot Mace would be the other thing, but basically it's Lucky Charm or Fecal Salve even. And then Handed Skull, I think we just hold on to that one. All right, but who are we bringing with us? Because none of these guys can hunt again. I think that means we're just, or not hunt again. None of them can hunt this year. Although we still have a chance. Pizza, if you're around, since you have asked for this, do you want to help me make a baby? I could hear her coming. Because we still have this love juice. So we're going to cash in the love juice to do an intimacy.
We gonna make a baby?
Let's get to intimacy. It should actually be right here. Yeah. Okay. So when you're ready, click the mouse.
Just click it.
That's a 3, which isn't great. We can't afford to lose people right now. So someone's using a reroll. It's either Daniel. Yeah, it's got to be Daniel because everybody else has used theirs. Daniel's using a reroll. So now, because this is something I did wrong before, we just re-roll 1, and whatever this result is, we keep.
Okay. Are you asking me out to dinner first?
It's not like that in this game. It's more of like an emotional, spiritual connection. Because we can have the baby this year, they can go out to fight a monster. They grow up quick.
Well, I just was hoping we'd go to Burger King and get a Naruto Kids meal. Okay.
I'll take a 5. 5 means we have a baby.
It's because we went to Burger King.
Thank you, pizza.
You're welcome.
All right, so as for what this means for this next year, we're basically taking 4 newbie hunters out. We got Barry, Rami, Gertrude, and Zara already prepared. So let's just use them. We do have a Knuckle Shield. We have a Wisdom Potion, but it's not going to do anything, so I don't think there's much sense in bringing that just yet. We're basically rolling the same loadout. Because we did not get much in the way of weapons, which is unfortunate. Got the knuckle shield, but I really wanted to get that axe. I just need one dense bone. It should not be this hard. There's, I think, 2 or 3 of them in the deck. It's one of the more common rewards. But that's the game. Did not go super great. But let's see. Let's just bring our folks over. Yeah, just, we really need population. We're so close to having a great campaign. We're so close. I just need like one good hunt phase. Man. That marrow hunger screwed us. But it is what it is, right? Yeah, so we're basically just going to run it back just with some slightly less good survivors. So I'm going to take a short break, clean up the rest of this, get things set up, reset the overlay, and we will be back in just a few minutes. So sit tight, and I will see you then.